You're now listening to the show about the shit in life that's just a bit too much, from the perspective of stand-up comics. With our hosts, Carmelo Bongiovi and Ken Krantz. This week's topic, how old are you now? This is A Bit Too Much.
She's close to getting to that probably know-it-all and don't bother me.
She already
age.
does know. I'll start to say something and she's like, Dad, I know.
Yeah.
And I said, like, how could you know? Because the thought popped into my head 5 seconds ago.
Well, do you want her to say what she's really thinking? Shut the fuck up, Dad.
Yeah.
Like that. The real thing is, I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And also, maybe she does assume she knows. Like whatever you're about to say, whatever beginning of a sentence you've said, she probably does feel like she knows already.
Yeah.
Because that's the age.
I think I'd rather be told to shut the fuck up. I know that's weird. Like, just say what you're thinking.
But I also think your kid I think it's probably similar in, of course, big age difference, but like with my kid, like they talk a lot. Like, you know what I mean?
God.
So I think that your kid is also very articulate about things, and like because those kind of kids, a little more like type A, they talk a lot and stuff like that. Like I think they also are just like, I have the knowledge already. Do you hear me? I haven't stopped talking all day. Like I know, you know what I mean? They're even more so that way because that's their personality type.
My daughter tells never-ending stories. Like, they start in the middle and they never progress past the middle. It's just, there's never a beginning or end. It's like a 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
I watch, like, when she's over for dinner with, we have the whole family together, my stepdaughters, I'll watch everybody tries hanging in there. Like, I'm like, God bless this family for trying,
Right.
But then, like 15 minutes into this story about how annoying, this girl at school is.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
It's a different story at this
point.
I'm
watching
probably,
people
right?
like starting to check their phones. Now my two stepdaughters have just started a side conversation. Right. I look over sometimes and I'm like, I know you think like, well, you're her dad, you must hang in the most. But I'm like, if I've heard this story,
you don't want
I'll go do the dishes.
Well, I think then as a dad, what you try to do is you try to find a way to help them wrap it up. You're not in it the most. You're like, all right, so then what? Like, you ever do those things? You prompt her to try to get to the end of the story. So what happened when, like you try to lead them to the end because they're like, you're not going to find it on your own.
You're so much nicer than me. No, because I'm like,
well, my daughter's much younger than yours too. Like I'm sure,
Yeah. No, I'm like, what? I'm like, are you getting paid by the word? Like, is this ever coming to an end? I was like, don't you see that they've started a side conversation?
Yeah.
Why can't you end this story?
Yeah, but I know a lot of adults
laughs.
who can't tell. Like my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, can't tell a story.
No.
This is a grown woman. She cannot tell a story. Love her to death. But this woman can't, one time, I'll just tell you the 3 beats of the story and you're like, how do these connect? She told me a story about a store she called me on the way to a store to tell me she was driving to a store, which had nothing to do with me. So I really didn't care. 5 minutes in, there was a story about a turtle outside of her school. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the story, and I don't mean the natural end of the story, I mean when I stopped the story.
And you're like, okay, this is over now.
The end of the story was something about a student's parent. She's a teacher. I'm like, where are you going with this? I still have no idea why you even dialed my number in the first place. You never got to a point. First of all, she's like a gossiper. She wants to just like call you as she's driving and she'll start a conversation. You know when that lull happens in a conversation? You're like, what else, man? That's where she starts her conversation. She'll be like, so what's going on? I'm like, wait, you don't have a point? You didn't call me for a reason? It's not like I don't talk to this person. She wants to catch up. We talk to her sister every day. So it's like, what's the reason? What's the reason of this call? But, I also think like there is obviously this is a very stereotypical thing to say, but there is a female style of telling stories with detours.
Yeah.
And there is a male impatience for those stories that is like just built into us. Like I feel like from the beginning of time, there has been women telling stories a certain way, men not wanting to hear it.
Right.
But then men telling stories a certain way and women going like, that's all you have for me in that story? Like, where are all the details? Like, my wife will ask me personal details about someone. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you what happened
she'll
today.
Be, you'll like introduce her like, oh, this is my buddy. And she'll be like, oh, what's he do? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll be on the phone.
like his Jordans.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I know about my friend. I like, I know very surface level things.
Yeah. Like, I'll be on the phone for like half an hour with a buddy, and then my wife will be like, oh, so like, what are they up to? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, well, how are the kids? I didn't ask. Well, how was their vacation? Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what were you talking about? I don't know. I think we were like making fun of somebody. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, there was nothing real happened. That's what I'll tell you. You know what? I feel like sometimes guys just really enter most situations like a kid. Like, we want to enjoy our time.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Of course, when someone's at a serious job, they're trying to get their job done. They're serious about it, whatever. But so much of men's time is how can I enjoy this moment? Me, sometimes that's food. Like, I will find, even if I'm doing serious things, what's the fucking pizzeria I'm going to go to? Like, where can I find the best slice in this county?
I just pictured you like at a funeral over an open casket. just wondering like what you're gonna get for lunch after.
100%.
Yeah.
And if it's not that, it's the darkest thought ever. Because I'm one of those like intrusive thought.
Yes.
Like, if I'm walking down the side of a road, it's a funeral too. I'm always picturing the casket like falling. If I'm walking down the side of a road, I'm picturing cars jumping the curb and killing me. I don't know what that is. I was on a drawbridge in Mystic, Connecticut last week with my family. We were there, and you have to wait for the bridge to draw for a boat to pass. It's a very like old fisherman town and stuff like that. And there's a lot of boats and still very active at the seaport and everything. And the bridge goes down. And the whole time, all I'm thinking is like, oh my God, what if one day the signal doesn't go off and that thing opens and a car falls through? That's all I could think of is a car falling through the drawbridge, or like the Mexican boat that hit the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm picturing that too. I'm picturing the boat missing the giant opening that they've provided and hitting the bridge and killing us all. I don't know what that is.
KP called that Mexican boat the MSS 13.
That's so good. Yeah, like I'm that like intrusive thought person, and when I'm with my daughter, like I'll be in the car, I'm just picturing pileups the whole time. Do you do that? The whole time I'm out, I'm not 24/7, but so often I think it's a little more heightened when I'm in protective mode of like just me and my daughter together. I'm only picturing bad things sometimes, and I'm like constantly worried about absurd, not rational bad things.
Yeah.
If it's raining, I'm picturing getting hit by lightning. My daughter saw lightning, and she's very fascinated by the fact that we hear it much later than we see it, the sound and light part of it. So when she hears the thunder, she's like constantly asking for explanations of that. Like, but why is light faster? I've told her, light travels much faster, and she's fascinated, right? And the whole time I'm telling her, we're walking through the rain trying to get to the car, we're like kind of rushing. She's asking me about this. My daughter's in a rainstorm asking me about the speed of light and sound. I'm like, God damn it, kid, we just get in the car. But the whole time, now that she mentioned lightning, I'm like, oh God, what if we just both get struck by lightning as we're running to the sky? Why does my brain do that?
I think that I feel like a lot of comedians have that same thing.
Yeah, it's a dark thought.
I know my wife has it, like with her job.
Is it like as innocent as like being like, oh, these are like people with like kind of inquisitive minds or like imaginations?
I think
imaginations, maybe.
Well, yeah, I think there's a level of creativity to it, even though it's like
you're making
super
up a story.
dark and not helpful. But I think
it's an
there's
anxiety-filled story. Yeah,
there's an anxiety behind it too. Like my wife gets she'll be like we were in Puerto Rico a month ago for our honeymoon. We waited a while and we just did our honeymoon. Like we did our honeymoon and first anniversary sort of all together. And we were standing over water, like over the bay or whatever. And then she's like, I wonder if there's sharks in there. And she says, I don't know what I would do if I saw a great white. She said, I'd probably be so scared. I would just jump in the water, like just jump right into its mouth.
Watching the water from the outside.
We're like standing on land.
Yeah.
And
She'd
I was
be so
like,
scared that she would go to the shark.
that's what her fear was. She was like, what if I jump into the water? I get so overcome with fear that it propels me forward and I jump in. I think my mind goes to the darkest places, but like that's I've never stood on land and been like, what if I'm compelled to jump into
That's weird because what she is describing is not a fall. I would think, what if I fell in? Mm-hmm. Like, what if I accidentally slipped and fell in? No, I would have that thought. She's saying she would jump in. She'd be so scared that she'd be compelled to commit suicide.
The shark, and then fear would propel her forward. I'm picturing her like taking her shoes off, handing me her phone, and then jumping. Like, how would you do it? But also, why? Like, why wouldn't your first She was like, well, what would you do if you saw one? I'd be like, holy shit, look, there's a shark. Thank God I'm standing on land.
So she is unlocking a third response, like it's fight or flight usually. She has a third one where it's jump into the danger. Yeah. Like usually it's go away or stand your ground.
Right. No. She's saying propel yourself into the danger.
Yeah. She has a sort of an amendment to the flight response, which is fly into the problem, not fly away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd be the first one killed in a horror movie. Like, oh, what's that? Yeah. What's that noise?
Oh my God, what if this guy comes from me with a knife and I run into it?
Yeah.
He's trying to kill someone else, but I just run into the blade.
We got caught in the rain the other day, and then it was like you heard the thunder rolling through, and then she was like, oh God, what do we do in case of lightning? She's like, do we hide under a tree? And I was like, what? No.
Also, in case of lightning, you're not going to see it coming.
Yeah, but also,
if it strikes
under a tree is the absolute worst place.
Well, yes, also that. But I guess my point is like the idea. That's also bad instinct. Yeah. You're going to go under a tree. But I'm also saying like if she's saying one in case of lightning, then the time to hide is now. It's not wait to know if lightning will come and then go hide. If you are scared in that moment that you're going to get struck by lightning, start hiding because the lightning's faster than you can see the warnings. Does she think it's going to come in like 7 intervals? And
I don't know.
I
don't know. All I know is you don't hide under a tree.
Yeah, you don't hide under a tree or wear a tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, my daughter, it's a little bit of an aside, but got me the other day in the car. My 40th birthday happened. Officially, I look in the age bracket that people have been accusing me of being in for about the last 15 years.
Right. All right. So
people have said I've looked like I was in my 40s since I was about 28 years old. So finally I've reached it. And now, I mean, maybe now people will start telling me I look like I'm in my 50s, but I'm finally in my 40s. So
I'm finally like this is what we've all been waiting for.
Well, you know what? It kind of works out for me because it's not as insulting.
Yeah.
If somebody says I look like I'm in my my higher 40s, my late 40s, it would be less insulting if I'm 40. Then when somebody tells me I look like I'm in my 40s when I was in my 30s, which is what happened all throughout my 30s, that's more insulting. Once you pass the decade mark, it's a new thing.
Yeah.
Right? So being told you look like you're in, even when I was 39 and Kevin Israel was in here and expected me to be in my 40s, it was still more insulting that right now, even though it was only a few weeks ago, now that I'm in my 40s, now it's not as insulting to say I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, that's weird.
Unless you tell me I'm in my 50s. Then it's once again insulting, which will probably happen. People will start thinking I'm in my 50s within the next 2-3 years. So I have my 40th birthday coming up. We're going to go away from my birthday. We were going to Mystic, Connecticut, little getaway. But before that, our very annoying Italian families are very much about coffee and cake. When are we going to gather to all make each other miserable? We can't wait to see each other and complain at each other's faces. So we have to sit. My mother's we've got to sing happy birthday to you. I'm like, how old am I that you have to sing to me? What a fucking weird thing for an aging lady to say to a middle-aged man is, when can we sing to you? Right? That's fucking bizarre. Birthday songs have always been bizarre, but I don't know. I feel like they need to stop at like 10. Like
for dudes, it's weird. I get when you're a kid. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. No, it's a good point with dudes. Like I feel like if you are
like I don't know dudes.
If you're like a young adult woman and you're out with your friends, and And you know, it seems sweet. There's like, dudes don't. If like 3 of us in the studio went out, it was like my birthday. Let's go grab lunch for my birthday. We're not singing happy birthday at that.
We're not singing happy birthday. We're not like, we don't have. Oh, this is my birthday week.
Yeah. We're not,
like my stepkids are like, my stepdaughter's like, oh, June's my birthday month, and it's like, well, wait, the whole month we got to treat you special for a month.
Yeah. First of all, that's pride. Okay, that's what that month is already designated to something. And I know. I forgot my birthday was happening the next week. I only remembered because my wife had this vacation planned during my birthday. Like, so I was very aware of my birthday because I knew we had a vacation coming. We had to pack. We had to plan. I was otherwise not even thinking of my fucking birthday. Like, at the end of June, I'm not even thinking, oh wow, next week's my birthday. I'm just like, let's get through June. Like, I don't know. I'm not even thinking of it. So so now we're going to have people over my house in a few days at this point. I'm in my car. This is late June. I'm with my daughter. I'm out with her all day. And she goes, I'm with my wife and daughter. And my daughter says, who's coming for your birthday party? Like, it's a big party. My daughter wanted to have a theme because I like to cook. She wanted it to be Ratatouille themed. This is how my 4-year-old thinks, right? She thinks everything's in Disney. She speaks in Disney. So she's like, oh, we're going to have a Ratatouille theme for you? I'm like, I don't know. Rats and food don't really mix for me. And so she's like, who's going to come? And I'm telling her, all of her grandmas, she calls a different thing. So my mom is Nonna, the Italian thing. Then her mom is my wife's mom is Nanny. But then her stepmom is just grandma, right? And then there's a great grandma. So she got all these names. So we're naming all the names. And then she goes, so my daughter has never, we've talked about this, my daughter has not ever met my father. My daughter, out of nowhere, she goes, is your dad coming to the party? I'm like, no, my dad is not coming to the party. And she goes, why? He's your dad. I'm like, it's a good point, but no, he is not. I was like, no, I don't. So I have notoriously just told her, because she's asked about him before. I've said he lives far. He doesn't, but we don't talk. So I don't know how to explain that to her when she started asking questions about him.
Just say he's dead. Just lie. Be like, he's not coming because he's dead.
Yeah.
You've never even met him. Where do you think he is?
Yeah, an anvil.
He's in hell.
I'll give him a cartoon death. I'm like, an anvil fell in his head. I'll give him like a Disney villain death, like Scar falling into lava, or that big cave, or Ursula getting hit with a boat.
A house fell on him.
A house fell. Right. I'll give him a Disney death. And so she was like, why? And then she starts increasingly getting upset about it. And she's like, but why isn't he coming? He's your dad. It's your birthday. I'm like, I know. I don't see my dad on my birthday. And she goes, well, then he's a bad dad. He's not a nice dad, daddy. And I'm like, you know what? That's not a bad point. And I'm sorry that it's upsetting you. And then she goes, and I started to understand why she started getting so upset. The way kids think is very like inward. She started going, are you going to not come to my birthdays? And I was like, no, I'll always be at your birthdays, right? And that's what she had, like a panic attack. I felt so bad for her. It made me fucking emotional because she started having a panic attack about the fact that a dad she also asked, is he dead? Is he? I don't know if she said is he in heaven or is she dead. Lately, it's been like just the word dead. She's like, is that person dead? You're like, no, it's our neighbor. She's like, I haven't seen our neighbor. Is he dead? She like learned about death. And so she's like, is he dead? I'm like, no, he's not dead. And she's like, so why wouldn't he be there? Are you going to not come to my birthday, Zaddy? And I'm like, Sophia, then I wanted to say, until I die, I will always be at your birthday. But then I'm like, I don't even want to throw that one. I can't even float that idea that one day I'll die. Like, we haven't broached that yet. And so I was like, no, I'll always be there. And she is now screaming like a little fucking guinea in the backseat. She's like, I don't understand. Why is it? She's literally screaming over me. I don't understand. He's a bad dad. He's not coming to your party. He's your dad. He should be at your party. You're not going to miss my party, are you? Like, she starts, and she's having a conversation with herself now. It's very much like talking to my wife. Now she's like screaming, and before I could answer, screaming about what my responses could be. And I'm like, it really got me because I'm like, one, it's very sweet that a 4-year-old is thinking that like 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 what you start to realize, like the emotional intelligence in your kid, and it's very sweet. But also, it's like, what the fuck do I tell her? Like,
well, it could have been a teachable moment. So when she's like, "Are you going to be at my birthday parties?" You could have been like I don't know. Depends what kind of kid. Yeah, like, are you going to be a shitty kid? Well, because if you're a shitty kid, maybe not. Maybe it's time to buckle up.
Yeah. So then what I'm also teaching her is that I'm the reason my dad doesn't talk to me. No, I was a teachable moment in the fact that I was like, look, some dads aren't nice. Some parents aren't that nice. And then I had to explain to her, this is complex, but I had to explain to her, like, he wasn't a horrible dad. He just isn't the nicest dad. You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to explain, because it is a complex thing to say, and I don't want to just be like, he's garbage.
Yeah.
Because that's not accurate either. But so I'm trying to like explain the complexities of this, and she's just like folding her arms in the back seat. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, you should listen to that episode of the podcast. And I directed her to the podcast.
Yeah, you wanna find out?
You want to dive in? You want to dive in, honey? Because I'm not having this conversation again.
Let's have them meet on the podcast.
My dad and my daughter.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
That would the idea of ambushing my dad with anything. Granted, a kid might soften the blow, because maybe he would actually, but doubtful.
How's your dad feel about Jews?
I think he as a man,
because me and your kid might be a lot.
As a man who has needed lawyers, he probably doesn't feel too negatively about Jews. I think although he has no money to manage, so it's not, he doesn't have that that benefit. But I think he's all right. Don't ask him about blacks.
Yeah. No, I
don't ask him about. No, he's actually not that bad. He's not really that racist. I'm exaggerating that. He's not that racist.
For an Italian?
For an off the boat Sicilian, he's not as racist as you think he would be.
All right, so that's something.
But he's very racist. Like, let me explain that. Like, he is much more racist than you'd want your dad to be.
Yeah.
He is much less racist than you'd expect my dad to be. Like, expect my dad, who is off the boat from Sicily of that time and era. He's not like going around screaming racial slurs, but he's also not giving a general respect to most people that are in society. I'll even take it as far as he's not even that respectful of other Italians. Like Sicilians, is where he draws the line.
Oh yeah, I feel like
that's a territorial thing with Italians.
Jews are the same way. Like, there's like an Orthodox Jew or Hasidic Jew wouldn't even consider me a Jew.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
they wouldn't be like, "Are you one of the team?" Like they look at you like you're minor leagues.
Do they
even consider you?
I'm like Episcopalian as far as they're concerned.
Really? So they're like, you just aren't taking this seriously. Yeah. Like, are they even mad that, like, how deep does that go? I know it's pretty strict. Like, Orthodox and Hasidic are pretty strict, but like, it's one of the most bizarre things I've ever been through in my life. There was a neighborhood in Brooklyn that was very Hasidic Jewish. I want to say it was like, I'm forgetting. I want to say Midwood.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do this. I had a really old beat up car at one point, and the air conditioner didn't work. So if I had to go on a long ride, I would rent cars. And there's that ride. There's like a ride share. I'm forgetting which one it is. I don't even know if it's an active thing anymore. What is it? Truro. No, I think it's similar, where like people park in these spots. Like, you go online, you reserve the thing, you go pick up your car that's in a spot or in a garage somewhere. You have the app that unlocks the car for you and all that stuff, right? It's one of the older ones. I'm talking probably like 8-9 years ago, probably. And I picked one up in this neighborhood in Brooklyn, and it was there was a temple, and then there was a just all these like apartment building, almost like brownstone, like old brownstones. And it's really heavy aesthetic Jewish area. And I went to go drop off the car at night and wait for an Uber to take me back home. Like, when I was done with my rental, that's what I was doing. And I go to drop off this car, and I pull into a spot, and I see these Hasidic Jewish men with live chickens in cages.
Yeah.
No idea what was happening. And there's a bunch of kids outside. Like, I want to say it was a Saturday. So I don't know if it was part of day of worship, and whatever was going on was like a gathering of. And a lot of people, there were, women and children and men, but the men were taking these caged live chickens out of cars into this building, and the kids were just playing in the parking lot. And it was very chaotic, right? And I'm trying to not beep at them all, just to be like, I don't want to be rude, but at the same time, they're in the way of where I need to park the car. So I'm like inching slowly, like to try to show them, and they're not moved. Like the men, the women, the children,
they don't care.
They do not give a shit that I wanted to get into this spot. And then I parked the car and I turned off the lights, and it almost like it was coordinated. The kids came and surrounded my car. Like I'm talking 12 little Hasidic kids. And I cannot call me a pussy. It was the creepiest fucking thing I had ever seen, because it's not like they were being like, kids and smacking. They weren't being like wild kids. They just came and stood around my car and stared.
Yeah, but
car.
they're all.
And I was like, oh God.
And they got like the long.
Curly. They had the curl, like sort of like. That
would be creepy. I mean, kids, I think inherently are a little creepy.
Yeah.
But when you get like a whole pack of kids in the same uniform, I could see that.
It was very like the stare. There was like blank stare. It was very Children of the Corn.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was picturing.
Whatever the Jewish equivalent of that would be. Like it was very like it was very it wasn't a parking lot too. It wasn't like in the middle of it. It wasn't like I was in a field. But it was in a parking lot in a very busy area, and I was like, what? I have so many questions about what's happening right now. What was the chicken thing?
I don't know.
Why were they taking? Well, I'm looking at you. You're the closest thing I have to the.
I don't know that we.
Is this a thing, or did these people just like having chickens?
Were
they making chicken for dinner from scratch, like from scratch? Like,
yeah, maybe.
Like
I don't know. Yeah, because there's like, although chicken wouldn't have to be kosher, would it? You should ask a better Jew. I don't know how it works.
I don't. Yeah, it almost. In the light of the moment, in the dark parking lot with these kids being chaotic and then standing around my car and the men taking these chickens, it looked very sacrificial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The moment, I'm sure it was not, but it like, there was probably like they get chickens and they butcher the chickens. I would imagine that's what they were doing, that they were butchering these live chickens and having fresh chicken, which is not that crazy. It is crazy to do in a Brooklyn apartment.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
I would agree with that.
It is crazy to do in a small Brooklyn apartment, to bring a live animal for the reason of butchering in the apartment and dealing with all the blood and feathers and guts that's gonna in a Brooklyn apartment. I don't even want to know the fucking smell of an apartment that does that. So it's bizarre, but it's not crazy that people would get butcher
Jeffrey
their own
Dahmer was doing all the same shit in his apartment.
Yeah,
these are just chickens, I guess.
Right, but then he went and like sucked some dick and then killed those people. So, it escalated a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I don't know. It just was a weird moment, and I've never found the answer. I've Googled, I've read a thread.
I don't think you're going to find it today. I don't know how much help.
I don't know why you can't be a better Jew.
Oh, what, did my mom put you up to this? I've been hearing that my whole life. Nick says that the most Jewish thing about me is I know which celebrities are anti-Semitic.
You know what? That is really fucking true.
Yeah.
You do always, and then sometimes it's like someone I wouldn't expect, and you're like, oh yeah, that guy hates Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do keep a running list. It's the opposite of a Schindler's List. It is. You have this celebrity list of anti-Semites. It's not just celebrities, politicians in general.
It's not always a deal breaker for me either, by the way.
It depends what the work is, right?
Depends, like...
Or how good the work is.
What, am I not going to watch Lethal Weapon ever again?
Yeah, right. Also, I think, like, if you can...
Mad Max? I still watch those Mad Max movies.
If you could imagine that Mel Gibson wasn't as Mel Gibson-y yet. Like, he hadn't devolved mentally in his ideas. If you believe that, I don't know if that's true or not. Then maybe you can go, well, he wasn't there yet. I'm watching him pre-crazy.
No, I feel like he was always his dad was pretty.
So then,
prominent.
my theory's out the window. Okay.
Yeah, like he was raised like by a, I want to say like semi-Nazi.
Yeah.
So
Not to be confused with the Semite.
Yeah.
Nazi. Right. I don't think Kanye believed anything positively about Nazis until he lost his shit more. I don't know if that's true, but I don't think it was in his purview. I don't think he was thinking about Nazis growing up in Chicago. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even think it was, but at some point he found an ideology and he's lost his shit. And I think part of it, half of it's trolling.
See, like,
even though I do believe he believes it, he also is trolling.
Yeah, there's an element
for sure. A lot of it's performative,
but it's
despicable, but it's performative. And but I guess my point is,
I feel like if someone runs around constantly praising Hitler and being like "fuck the Jews," that's probably what they're thinking.
I'll give it. It's a unique performance. I'll give you that. It is not the typical way a rapper would go. But that's my point. Is like he was a rapper in Chicago. I don't know. Was he really thinking about? Was he even thinking about Jews? Like, was he even thinking of any of this stuff, or did he find it because he was always prone to think these extreme?
See, like
things?
Kanye, I had to cancel for me.
Right. We talked about that last episode. That's one that you liked Kanye and you had to stop.
Yeah.
But Mel Gibson, you don't mind? I guess Mel Gibson's not.
I'm not saying I don't
but
mind
he's not pro-Nazi. He's just an anti-Semite. There's a difference. There's a difference between being pro-Nazi and anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I'm not saying I don't have a problem with him. I'm just saying if Lethal Weapon comes on, I could still watch it.
Right. It's free. Like, listen, some people don't hate all Jews. Like for me, for example, I hate one. Just one. Just happens to be. But like, you know what I mean? Like I don't. Yeah, I guess, I always think back to Michael Jackson. I always think back to when did he figure out he was a pedophile? And can I salvage listening to that music still? As a dad, I don't want to listen to the music of a pedophile, but I also want to believe that maybe he didn't even know at one point. Like,
that's
it's okay.
That's an interesting question because, like, when you're a kid and you're attracted to kids,
you're
not like, oh, I'm a pedophile.
Mark Norman.
It's just when do you stop?
Mark Norman has a bit about that. He's like, we were all almost pedophiles, but there's something in the wiring. And he says something like, when I was younger, I liked grape juice and little girls. When I got older, I liked wine and older women, but I still like grape juice. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like he's like, I evolved my taste, but I still like some of those kid things. But like the joke is that that's like, he just grew out of not liking little girls. Right. And that's a really good observation because it's like, you wouldn't know until you're an adult, I guess, that you have a weird thing like that. Beyond weird, a crazy criminal deviant thing. And some wiring is broken in your brain. But you wouldn't know that till later. But I would imagine, not that you would be able to know this as a kid, I would imagine that there have to be some signs that are not necessarily just you like it, because again, if you're 10-year-old and you like a 10-year-old, that's normal. But there probably were some other weird things along the way, right? Like I would imagine some other, I don't know what those signs would be. Like, I don't know if a psychiatrist would tell you, okay, a 10-year-old who's prone to be a pedophile would show these behaviors as a 10-year-old even. Like maybe there's signs, but it's not like, but you wouldn't know by just simply who they're attracted to until they're older and they're still attracted to that same 10-year-old.
Like maybe.
So Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Was a star at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to listen to like old Michael Jackson, like Jackson 5,
I think
it's okay because it's pre-ped.
I feel like he didn't get super weird. I feel like right around Bad is where
he Kanye'd in a way that like he devolved heavily because of his mental illness and all this other shit and trauma. Right? He had a hard. We saw his demise.
Yeah.
Or his
I also
downfall.
feel like he was like through his album titles trying to tell you what kind of person. Yeah, like Bad, Dangerous. What was the other one around that time? I felt like all the titles were hinting at something.
Yeah.
I feel like Off the Wall is still fine. He wasn't too weird then. Yeah. And then Thriller, I feel like Thriller should be your cutoff point.
Wiping off the wall.
Yeah.
I think that with... I think that though all those titles, to me, those always read as like someone who is sort of effeminate trying to seem like a badass.
Yeah.
I always thought of that of Michael Jackson. Like he's trying so hard to be badass, because there is a part of Michael Jackson that has always been not super macho, manly. You know what I mean? Like, he's a kid who grew up in the industry while his father beat the absolute snot out of him and his siblings. And he's fucked up in the head, and he's always had that light voice. And I don't think he's ever been thought of or had like what is stereotypical little boy upbringings, you know? And so all those titles to me were like, that's an overcompensation for him trying to be like, oh, look, I'm badass. And everyone's like, we know, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here exactly? It was like Michael Jackson and Prince. They were like the two sort of like out there artists of like that were like brown people of a lighter complexion. Like, they were so similar. People thought of them. Prince to me is in another league musically. Yeah, is in another league. But like that. But people were. I feel like those two got compared so much. But I don't think we found out what if Prince had any demons.
I think if you did,
besides just like personal, not wanting to be near people and stuff like that,
like a Mount Rushmore of American
pedophiles,
John
Wayne Gacy.
I was going the opposite. I was going to say like songwriters, producers.
Let's do the Mount Butler.
Like Prince. Prince would definitely be on.
Oh yeah, for sure. There is a clip of Prince doing this like sort of doing this performance with the other huge artists. It was Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and it's like it's with I forget
where he just his solo. He just wouldn't let them have the song back.
But you saw all of them like staring in awe.
It's amazing.
Him. Yeah.
It's the most badass guitar solo I have ever seen in my life.
But it's like Tom Petty.
Yeah.
It's
everybody.
It's like everybody.
It's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, and they were doing While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Yeah, and he is going off. Right, he starts his and you expect him to do the solo thing where he goes over the top and he's showing off. Right, you expect him to do all that ego ramp shit. But then he just won't give them the song back. Like they're in awe of him, but they're also like there's a few points where you could tell they're trying to come around the curve and get back in, and he's not letting them. And they're like, they all just collectively go like, okay, it's his now. And then he throws his guitar to a giant dude who just catches it for him. It's the most, and he walks off the stage. They're not done. They were not done with the performance. He's like, I'm done now. It's the most
that was so great.
Badass thing that is also the most Prince thing in the world when you hear stories about how like he didn't even want to be a part of these things usually. You know what I mean? Like Prince was very particular, I think, about the people he wanted to be around and stuff. And it was just this like, all right, let me just show you motherfuckers what I'm about. Do it. Throw the guitar. They're like, wow, you didn't let us have the song back, and now you're leaving the performance before it's done. What the fuck, dude?
He was that good a musician at like every instrument. Mm-hmm. Like he could have gotten up and done the same thing on the drums or the bass or the keyboards.
Yeah.
That isn't weird, like how
talented.
Like half of 1% of people in the world are that talented, and then everyone else just sucks at pretty much everything.
And now everyone else is just online complaining about the people that are that talented. Dude, it's not even fucking real music. He wasn't as good at. I have been going down a rabbit hole of arguing with people in TikTok comments.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm not gaining anything out of it.
You can't feel good. Have you ever felt good after hitting send on a comment?
No. I don't normally proactively comment on content. Sometimes I will. I find myself commenting on comments. I'm commenting on dumb comments, and I don't know what it is I'm searching for out there. I don't know what's wrong with me and what I'm missing. Maybe it's a midlife crisis. I don't know. I'm like just arguing with people for no reason. I'm picking fights on the internet.
Have you thought about therapy?
No, dude. We've talked about this. Oh, well, have I thought about therapy? For probably the past 20 years. Have I gone to therapy or even Googled therapist near me?
Yeah.
No.
You should do it.
I don't like that tone. I don't like the way you're like, you're broken. You need to go do
no,
this.
It sounds like you need it.
I don't know what that is. I just like people commenting on people. It could be like a musician who's amazing. It could be like a Prince video where somebody's like, most people are like dude, he was a fucking guitar guy. He was this virtuoso musician. And then somebody's like, he's not as good as, and it's like fucking naming a guy from Metallica or something, like he's not as good as this band. You're like, wait, what? And then I'm finding myself arguing with those people. I'm like, what am I doing?
It's so funny how
what am I doing with myself? This is what I'm doing at 40 years old.
Yeah, you know what?
You ever find that about you? You're like, well, I'm 40 now.
The difference between Trump's first and Trump's second term is I just learned don't comment on anything ever.
Yeah, I know. I had an argument with someone about something like that. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. I don't know, some quote about it where he said, I have more power now after the passing of the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I just commented, this is a case where I actually did comment on the content. I was like, yeah, presidents shouldn't be asking for more power, right? The branches of the government exist for a reason.
Yeah.
He is in the highest office. He is the leader of the executive branch. That is as high as it gets. You don't get more power than that. That is, you still have the democracy part. Like, you still have the checks and balances of the other branches of government. And he's like kind of bragging that he's got a little more power over Congress than he had when he came in the door. Yeah. Right. So that's the basis of what he's saying. I simply said, like, yeah, presidents probably shouldn't be like bragging about trying to get, like, they shouldn't try to be getting more power. And somebody commented, like, dude, after a while I realized I was probably talking to a 15-year-old, but
or a bot.
It was because no, it wasn't a bot, because it was like, it wasn't polished enough to be a bot. Like those bot responses are like very text, like copy and paste thing. You know what I mean? Like they're not like, there's grammar mistakes and all this stuff. He was basically like saying like what something about all the other, like, you should do some research on all the other presidents and see what they were really about. I'm like, that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. That's no prior president has anything to do with what I'm saying right now. I'm not defending, the 44 presidents that came before Trump by saying that I don't like what he said. Right. So I'm saying, I made this guy, and I'm going back and forth with this person, and I'm like, no, I don't think you understand the fuck. I'm like getting serious with this. I'm like, why am I not? Normally, I'm just making shitty jokes at people, and then I just duck out of the conversation, like, and make it bad because it's funny to me. Now I'm sitting here like arguing with this guy about democracy.
Yeah,
and he probably was 15. What am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah, sure. Some would say these are things that could work out in therapy.
Yeah,
some would say. You annoyingly tell me this all the time.
Yeah, because you sound...
shut up. Whatever you're about to say, just shut up.
Sound angry.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife...
You should probably be on medication.
Which kind?
Like...
Diagnose me. I've already established that you're part of... You might be making me worse. You might be making me more angry.
It's no shame. I'm on antidepressants.
Which ones? You gonna? What do you got? What's your cocktail?
I had to. Well, it's funny because when they were like figuring out what to give me, I had to
figure out what the fuck is wrong.
Yeah.
with me.
Well, you have to like talk to a psychiatrist, and
that's the part I don't want.
So I'm talking. Yeah, but I'm talking to her, and she's like, "Listen, I don't even remember which one she recommended first." She was like, the only real side effect is with most men, you're going to get ED. Mm. But we got pills for that. And then but then I was just like, wait, what? Like, I'm trying not to be sad. Like, I'll just be sad.
Yeah. The rest of you will be okay, but you're going to have a very sad dick.
Right.
You're just going to have a...
I'd rather have a sad...
Your pee hole's going to frown. It's going to turn into a little...
I'd rather have a sad life and a happy dick. Like, I'm like, why are you taking away the one thing that I'm clinging to?
Yeah, how is this productive? It's the only thing that makes me happy.
Yes, yeah. So your antidepressant is going to remove the last thing that brings me joy?
Yeah.
No thanks.
Which, by the way, is how they attack most medical problems.
So then
when you talk about cancer, they talk about removing the cancer cells and keeping the good cells. Like, that is a medical response to something, is take the bad out.
Yeah.
Even if you have a little bit of other bad.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, I don't.
She was like, well, there's this other one that won't do that, but it might not is effective. I'm like, that's okay.
That's the one I want. I want to
give me the one that may or may not work.
I'm willing to gamble with the 99% of my body and chemistry to not gamble with the 1% that matters to me. Your dick in this conversation of the makeup of your whole body, your dick is the billionaire.
Yeah.
Right? And the rest of your body is the poor.
Right.
Right? And
that's my 1%.
And we're going to keep the billionaire happy.
We got it.
Okay?
The rest of the body's getting tariffed.
Yeah. You've got, right. And you've got these big, beautiful balls. You've got these big, beautiful balls. The rest of the body's getting tariffed and taxed out of the, in my case, out of my actual asshole. But we're going to keep that 1% going because some would argue that's the driving force behind all of it. Others would argue that is the corrupt part of you that is ruining the rest of the nation that is your body. Right? It depends how socialist or capitalistic you want to be about your body. Like, what is that billionaire dick actually contributing to the good things in your life? Like, some people believe billionaires are what's fueling the economy, right? And then there's the other mindset, which I think is most people, which is like, fuck these billionaires. All this thing does is get me into trouble and keep the rest of me down, right? So what is your point of view? Are you pro Elon Musk dick?
No,
or are
I'm
or you're like Bill Burr and you're like, kill the billionaires?
No, listen, it's like, it'd be like someone coming in like, hey, we can make you not angry anymore, but you're not going to enjoy food.
Oh yeah, done.
Yeah. So it's not like I'm in a monogamous marriage.
Right.
So it's not like it's driving all these bad decisions.
No,
I'm not like Sam Malone.
Yeah, well, no, but you're talking about an old retired billionaire. No, your dick's not out and about,
right?
But it's still sitting on its money. You know, it's still it's still got investments and it's got more life to live. Now your dick's on a yacht. So now your dick is just enjoying the fruits of their labor of the labor of the previous years. And still even a retired billionaire still shitting on the poor, which is the rest of your body. I agree. You know what though? Honestly, replace my dick with like an actual Italian sausage.
Yeah,
like an actual one.
Yeah. No. You know
what I mean? I think the only reason why I don't have a sex addiction is because I have a food addiction. I'm pretty sure if you took food away, of course, not necessarily not being in a marriage, but if I was single and you told me you can't eat the way you eat, I might just like fucking go get prostitutes all the time. Like, I think I'm filling a void with food.
Right.
But I also love food. Like, I romanticize food, which maybe is something that also alcoholics do with alcohol. You know, I'm not saying it's not an addiction, but I also really I am so passionate about food. My wife's family is over, as I mentioned. I made vodka sauce last night. My vodka sauce is incredible. And not only am I so proud of how good it is, it's fucking restaurant. I'm telling you, like, this is fucking phenomenal vodka sauce. And not only am I so proud of how it is, I thought about it for 2 straight days. Like, I'm like, I need to go get like good pancetta. I thought about this for 2 days. That's why we didn't book a guest for this. All I could think about, I didn't have room in my brain.
You were unusually quiet this week. I was like, that's so funny.
No, it's partially because I was on vacation last week, but like I just was out of the mind. Like, I wasn't thinking, you know, I wasn't like in the normal grind of things and thinking. But partially, I've also just been like, dude, I was in Mystic, Connecticut, just fucking downing seafood.
Yeah,
fucking pounds of seafood. So good. Fucking lobster rolls and oysters and shrimp. I was on cloud 9, like just fucking devouring food. And then I came back and my wife's family is over, and they're of the New York Italians who go to Florida and then complain that Florida isn't New York. You know? That's so funny. Like, they couldn't wait to get out of New York. They get to Florida and they're like, why the fuck can I find imported prosciutto everywhere?
You moved. That's why.
Yeah,
like,
right.
And but also,
that's why I tell them that all the time. I have this conversation with them all the time. I'm like, you went to a different place. They're not going to have the things.
Why do you move if you just want everything to be the same everywhere?
They went from Staten Island, which is like a mecca of Italian food. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there is Italian delis every 13 feet. They're like, most towns have Starbucks. That's they have that in fucking Gabagool.
We were in Florida before we went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And,
all right, you had
because I had shows.
Yeah.
And Florida crowds, by the way, Did I ever tell you about that show?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Well, I don't know about this one in particular. I just think you. Oh no, you did. You did. I think you told it on the air.
But
I don't remember anything you've said.
But we found amazing food.
Yeah,
but we were also
it depends
like
what part of Florida you're in.
Yeah, but like the club owner's a friend, so he was taking us around.
Dude, you could also drive through like Kissimmee, like the parts like outside of Orlando that are like food deserts. It's just like strip mall. It's all like, it's just like, Carrabba's and Outback and, it's just corporate shit. There's parts of Florida that are just, it's like, if you drive through Kissimmee, because there's also some communities in there, like we could rent Airbnbs. Like we stayed in it's a really nice community, like gated community. You drive in, and we stayed there when we were in Florida. We went to Disney because it was like 15 minutes away by car. We had a car we rented. But driving through Kissimmee is fucking sad, dude. It is like long stay motels. So these are motels that meth heads are living in. Like that's strips of these motels.
Yeah,
that just drug addicts that live in.
Like the Florida Project.
Yeah, exactly like that. I thought that was exaggerated, by the way. I had no idea that
was a great movie.
Such a good movie. Yeah. I had no idea that is, and I think that might have been where they were, was Kissimmee or one of those areas like pretty close to Orlando, which is very sad because you'll just see like a rundown motel with like a 25-year-old spray painting of like an off-brand Mickey on the side of the motel because he's still trying to Disney-fy everything. They try to capitalize. They're like, oh, the meth heads who have little kids will like that there's a Mickey Mouse, but it hasn't been renovated in fucking decades.
Yeah, it's Methy Mouse.
Yeah, right. Methy Mouse. And
it's just eyes all wired like he's been up for days reassembling a toaster.
Yeah, just sucked a rat's dick for some crack. And and then there's all these chain restaurants. So there's parts of Florida that are like that. And then there's parts of Florida. There's nothing, I'm sure, I've never been to where they live. I'm sure where they live I'm sure there is good food available.
Yeah.
They don't live in a bad area at all. He wants Italian food. He wants New York Italian. He wants imported prosciutto. He wants, he wants fresh, he wants like imported Italian things is that what he really is looking for? Like imported cheeses. And like tomatoes that like with the Italy seal on the can of the tomatoes you buy, like that's what he's looking for, and that's what he's not getting. So now he's over our house, and I'm like, all right, so I'll make you some Italian food, and I made vodka sauce, and it's and as a result, this episode has had no direction. We did not book a guest. We've said nothing of value, and
why start now?
And
Why would we start saying anything of value?
Yeah, but we usually at least have a topic.
Yeah.
This and I do feel like when you and I sit down alone, you always end up telling me I need therapy. Every time we sit down alone, you're like, but let's get to the bottom of you. It's like this weird fucking Dr. Phil thing you kick on, but like the actual Dr. Phil, like not the Dr. Phil on the TV show. The Dr. Phil you imagine Dr. Phil to be when the cameras are off,
Oh, I'm imagining like prostitutes and beatings.
Yep. Well, that was this episode of A Bit Too Much.
Prostitutes and beatings.
You know what's amazing is Kahuna didn't fall asleep during this one.
He may have just walked out.
Like, really? Like, this is the one that you didn't fall asleep during? It's A Bit Too Much podcast on all the socials. Like, subscribe, and just fucking sodomize that subscribe button. Just absolutely destroy the anal cavity of that subscribe button and follow us for more of this. I mean, if this wasn't a reason to follow the show, I don't know what.
This might be a two-parter.
Right, we have to break this down to like 10-minute segments, and this is going to be like a good Netflix documentary about Vietnam. All right, we'll see you whenever we see you next time.